As his friends from school is here because they just got sent home. Don't you love pandemics? So apparently, apparently the Bratlet school has had a case. So they had to send a bunch of their teachers home. So they don't have enough teachers for school. So they've sent the kids home. So the kids are at my house. Not all the kids, but just one of Baz's best friend, and they're all masked up. So I was wearing the mask. I was wearing the mask because I just cleaned the bathroom for this kid. He's great guy. So he's got his own bathroom, and yeah, COVID, gotta love it, huh? So we are. I don't know if we got to find out what the deal is, whether we're in quarantine or lockdown or what the deal is now, but there's a case at Baz's school. So depending on what the back and forth is, I've decided anyways that we're not going back to school. Baz is gonna homeschool for the time being because I can't. It just doesn't make any sense to me right now. Hello, everybody. I should say hi to everyone before I start lamenting and complaining. All right, Miss Liz, fabulous Miss Liz. How are you, Miss Liz? Today at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, we're doing a Tech Bandits with Candy Medusa talking about plastics and stuff, which should be really, really cool. And I even did a little bit of extra research because I was looking into bacteria that eats plastics. Because bacteria are wonderful. And I just wanted, I don't know how to, I watched all this stuff that Candy Medusa had sent to us very kindly to look at. And there's some amazing stuff, and the stuff that she's sort of uncovered in her travels and the artwork she's doing is just amazing. And I wanted I want there to be a science answer. You know what I mean? Like I want there to be, as much as I feel doomed in many ways, by my general, I don't just play a coward on television. I'm a full-on coward in life as well, and I am definitely sort of a dark cloud when it comes to a lot of these things, but I do believe that technology can save us. So one of the things I started looking into was this plastic eating bacteria, which I just think is really, really cool. Anyways, yeah, I'd read about it a while ago, and I thought, I gotta look this up again because this whole plastic thing is going crazy. But here's the news for today. So the news for today is, and I'm sorry, the reason why I'm late and not as sweaty as I should be, I am still wearing my yoga outfit, basically. But just after we've done our, whatever it's called, the Shivi Vasanas or whatever the hell, when you lie back and you're just allowed to actually relax after murdering your body for half an hour. We do that, and then I get a bloop, and I go and I check my messages, and Baz's school has been closed for the day because of a COVID case. And I was like, oh man, because literally this morning I said to Jane, I said, why don't we just keep him home? Why do we, there's if things are going crazy here, not crazy, but the numbers are beginning to uptick here. We've got over 50% variant, which is much more infectious and apparently much more dangerous. To people of our delicate age, so that made me think, maybe we should just keep him home. And so we talked about it for a bit. Well, we thought, we'll discuss it later. But I was at the back of my mind, I'm just thinking no, let's just keep him home. Let's just keep him home. There's a part of me that goes maybe it's just because I like having him at home. I feel a little guilty because I'm I would rather Baz was home, honestly. And even if there wasn't a pandemic, I just like having my best little friend around. You know what I mean? And then of course he gets to school and they shut down because there's a COVID case. So one of the kids in another class has COVID, and from one of his parents apparently, and so they've had to send all the teachers home because any of the teachers that might have been in contact with them are now sent home, and they've got to get tested and all that kind of stuff. But they said, it'll be fine. We'll get to come back tomorrow probably, and it was just a mild case, and that's what really got me. Was a teacher, in this case a principal, saying it's a mild case of COVID. And that sort of blew my mind because I'm like, what? There's no such thing as a mild, if you've got COVID, you're infectious, which means that you could spread it. And then it's no longer a mild case if people who have underlying conditions get it. So I felt there was an innate misunderstanding of the problem. And that was the cement on the coffin, on the shoes that threw him in the lake, that I said, like, I think I'm going to keep him home. I mean, I think if Jane is okay with me doing that, I'm going to keep him home. As I say, we're going to have to home anime. I mean, school, because Baz likes to watch anime. Right now, they're upstairs playing card games. I think that's okay. But that's why I had the mask on. So I had the mask on because I was upstairs. I had cleaned out the bathroom there so that he's got his own, the kid's got his own space and doesn't have to worry about getting anything from us or vice versa. And I just think that's probably smarter. So anyways, I am I'm a germaphobe at the best of time. I'm a coward all the time. I just feel like I've been lamenting the situation with the vaccinations for quite a while now. But this is the problem. If we're getting admittedly just one case or a possible case, or at least possible contact in this little tiny school that Baz is at, I can only imagine what's happening in the rest of Ontario. So, and that just really worries me. So there you go. Looks like mildly pregnant. Exactly. That's Chelsea. That is a beautiful way of putting it. Mildly pregnant. I cried harder, leaving my youngest this year at college than I did last. His first, wanted to put him in a bubble. Oh, Angelique, do they have to leave? Can they just stay? What if they just stay? What if they just stay and I don't let him have any friends and I'm his only friend, and then he just has to hang out with me all the time? Yeah, mild. Nothing like mild. What do we got? My friend teaches at a Catholic school with in-person classes. She was actually grateful to shatter her leg in January so she could go on disability. Oh my God. Rather break your leg than be at school. 4 cases last week in the middle school. Our school district is pretty small. Yeah, the problem is, yeah. Oh my God, I've never been invited to a convention in Sweden, so Soma approved. If there's anyone, I would do Sweden in a second. Well, no, I wouldn't. I'm never leaving the house again. What am I saying? Who am I kidding? Does minor cases mean it's only infectious to people with blue eyes? Exactly. I love Nutella. Well, Peter, let me tell you about Nutella. Nutella's got to be had with peanut butter. It's peanut butter and Nutella for me, or nothing, basically. I'm not a big fan of Nutella by itself. I like it with peanut butter. I'm in a restaurant, public places in year. I know, me too. I've just, afternoon for the UK where you're actually vaccinating people. What a brilliant idea. We are not. So today we talk to Candy Medusa. I'm really looking forward to this. I had a little pre-interview chat with Candy and she is fantastic. I'm really looking forward to hearing about her adventures on this boat trip she took, where they were scooping up the top layer of water to get a sense of the number of sort of plastics and contaminants and things in there. And none of it is good news. But that said, it is also a great, I think, thing for the kids to understand, for me to understand. I mean, I didn't understand this whole recycling. I really was sucked in by this whole, what do they call it, wish cycling. There's a fantastic, what is his name? Jamie Oliver? No, they're all Olivers, for God's sake. Oliver Tonight, whatever his name is, the guy. What's the guy's name? That Oliver guy? Someone will know. Someone will answer it. What do we got? The only reason why the UK is looking so good with vaccines is because we have basically no old people left to vaccinate. Oh, Jesus, Isabel, I hope that's not right. Looks like we should chat about trivia. Yeah, no kidding. Are my messages not being shown? 38 of VFX Studio says, are my messages not being shown? What do you mean? Where? Here? There's just too many things going by. Hello, Creative VFX Studio, who I believe has been kind enough to get in touch with me, and of course I have not responded. It is the number of people, the number of non-nerds in this world who have suddenly discovered the internet and are living lives like unemployed actors for the first time thanks to a pandemic, is extraordinary. I spend so much time now talking with people online, and it's such a lovely pleasure to be able to do things like talk to Candy Medusa, to chat with Ari and James Gurney and Fred over at thequadstick.com, fantastic. Gimpy G, of course. I'm going to talk to Gimpy G this afternoon again. I'll see if he minds if we can maybe go live, and then I could do some Twitch some Twitch chatter as well before we go into Tech Bandits. But I don't know now because I realize as I say that I may have to be yelling at kids and making sure that they're doing their work. But definitely 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to talk the not so fantastic plastic. And chat with us. Exactly, Christopher. I know. I feel like I haven't been on. Well, maybe I could do a stream. You know, if the kids are okay, the kids are all right, then maybe I can hop on Twitch and do some chatting. They will probably want to be a part of it. Emperador! All right, Emperador's got questions for me. I saw him before. David. Emperador, the master of questions, the riddler. What's a belief that you hold with which many people disagree? A belief that I hold that many people disagree with. Oh, shoot, I just poured coffee on my foot. That I think that a lot of people disagree with. That's interesting. Well, God. I don't believe in God. That seems to be a big issue for a lot of people. Not issue, but a big point of debate for a lot of people. So that would be probably the biggest one. That what else? Well, you know what? Also, I really like Marmite. So that's something else that I think those are the two biggest, probably Marmite. My appreciation of Marmite and Marmite on toast with butter, to be fair, and also that whole sort of not believing in God thing. Those are probably the two big. Most people disagree with those things, I would say. I know, Miss Liz. See, even Miss Liz. Are you not a Marmite fan, Miss Liz? I feel like you should be. You know, you seem like that sort of adventurous kind of, the yeast extract fan. It's literally yeast extract. That's what it is. But for some reason, I just like that saltiness. Oh, you're watching the SN11 test flight. Is that on right now? Is there another test flight on right now? We Brits loved odd breakfast assortments. I'm currently eating fish paste on toast. Okay, no, that's freaking revolting, Jim the Evo. I got nothing for you on that one. But I'll tell you, the English breakfast, black pudding, another one that I really like, or blood pudding as they call it. I've crossed oceans of blood pudding for you. Marmite, God, and MMA. MMA, mixed martial arts, would that be the one? This is the weird thing is, I disagree in everything about boxing and mixed martial arts. Like, I feel that it's extraordinary what these athletes are able to do. I just feel there's got to be something innately wrong with trying to render another human unconscious as a sport. That said, I cannot take my eyes off it. I will watch MMA. I will watch boxing and feel very, very guilty about it because that's it. Good morning, Dave's the dude. Life is okay. Life could be better if there wasn't a pandemic. But you know what? I'm actually I'm feeling very lucky, and I'm feeling very fortunate that I am in a situation where my son can be here, my son's friend can be here. We can throw on a couple of masks, and they can actually hang out and probably not learn anything, but at least they can do their schoolwork together, and I think that's kind of cool. So, but as I say, he's been sent home because the school has had a case of COVID, which I have a feeling is going to be more than they think it's going to be at this point. So they're talking about the kids being back at school this week, and I'm like, no freaking way. Anyways, being very update today. What a spring day. Wow. I know we're getting a bit of spring, which is nice. I'd rather knock someone out than be shot by them. I'd rather knock someone out than be shot by them. I would rather knock someone out than be shot by them too. But are now handguns allowed in MMA now? That's something that I should know about. Oh, yikes! I'm knocking things over. What do we got? I don't want to do that. What's that? I didn't even know you could do that. All right, I wanted to ask him, what happened to the backdrop from Stargate after the shoot? Shredded. This is one of the dark, terrible secrets of the film industry. People don't like their sets being used again. They go, no, we made this up, and this is ours, and you can't have it. So they literally shred that stuff. The heavy stuff that's expensive to get rid of. I do have one piece here, which you can sort of see. If I turn it on, you'll see. There you go. So I have one piece that I saved. It did not have a Pac-Man on it before. There's one piece that I saved from what we'd got. We saved a bunch for our movie. When we heard that they were pulling apart the set, I wanted to bid on, because they had a budget to take apart the Stargate Universe set. They had a budget. I don't know what it was. Like, let's make up a number, like $400,000 or something, to take that set apart. I was like, I'll take it. Give me the contract, and I'll take all the parts, and I'll save them, and we'll build another giant spaceship. It'll be amazing. But apparently that isn't done. So they paid someone to destroy it. And so I managed to save one section. I was allowed to save one little section, which was a shuttle set, which I then brought to our little movie. And the first thing our designer does when I'm not looking is pull it all apart. Because nobody wants to design, no one wants to use someone else's design. They want to design it themselves. It's all original. And, so they took this beautiful set that worked perfectly in my mind. I was like, paint it white, let's go. No, they had to pull out this and pull out that and change this and change that. So it just looked stupid. Anyways, and the idea was that they just didn't want it to look the same as it did in another show. So we had that, and then I go home after this crazy long last night. Finally, we're over. I sleep. I think I took a day. I slept. I came in like 2 days later, and because it was so expensive to keep the set, everything in dumpsters and gone. So I lost all of that stuff. And I managed to save one. Well, Jane, was actually, saw that going into the dumpster and was like, what? And grabbed it for me. There is one lamp somewhere in the other room that I also got. It's this crazy big, can I get it? Can I show you? I think I can. Let's see if I can find it. It's a mess. Judge me not. Judge me not, because it's in a constant state of being organized. Where is it? There it is. So there's this beast here. This guy right here is another kind of cool lamp. That's the back end of my torture device. So there's that. So there's a few little things that I think, is that it? I think that is it. Trying to think. Yeah, no, I think that's all we saved. That's all we could save. There were some astronaut outfits, like some spacesuit type things, but then we had to send them back to another production, I guess, or I don't know who it was. Somebody claimed that it was theirs, so we gave it back to them. We were so tired at the end of it. I know. I think the problem with the frigging set pieces, Fox Girl, is that they're expensive to store. So I stored those pieces in a big 18-wheeler that we rented for a huge amount of money every month. And it was getting to the point where I was thinking, like, I don't know what else to do. I mean, if we don't get this movie going, we won't be able to do this. So we eventually got the movie going, and it didn't make sense economically to do what we did, especially when the designers decided to just ignore all of my requests and do what the fuck they wanted. So that was sort of an eye opener. But yeah, I sort of despair about. There is, because, keep in mind that these are short-lived companies for the most part. Like you basically incorporate a company, make a film, and you do that because then the company's a separate thing. And so there's ownership issues you get into. Also, it's complicated. I think there are many people on that set and in the Stargate group that would have loved to keep that stuff, but there's just an expense involved in it that it's difficult to work out unless you've got a brilliant Jane producer to work these things out. So you can thank her for some of those things being saved. But even then, like the chair that I had, that just, I can't store it properly. So it got bashed around a bit. And when it finally sort of cracked and fell apart, I was like, this is crazy. And I just took some of the sort of the little pieces, the extra pieces, basically. So I added this, to the back of my just my office chair, right? And I added all right, mate, gotta move you. You're in the way. So and I also added this piece as well to the arm piece. So I'm just I hate this stuff. I hate the stuff gets wasted. I'm a nerd. It's fun playing with it. So I kept a few of those. I forgot about that piece as well, right? So that used to be the full chair from the shuttle set. But as I say, it's made of this foam that I guess over time, once the surface is damaged, it feels like the foam sort of starts to crumble. And I was working on it, trying to get one of the hydraulic things to work, and I might have leaned on it a bit, and it just went. It was like, yeah, it was like a bad comedy routine. Is the fat guy destroyed the set? And I was gonna try to fix it, and I was like, this is crazy. There's all this horrible sort of toxic dust everywhere. So I got rid of the main meat of the system, and I sort of kept the pretty pieces basically of that. So I need to get me part of the gate there. Yeah, I mean. You know what? I wouldn't even bother. I wouldn't bother, honestly. This is my sense of this stuff. Well, sorry, I shouldn't say that. There's something very nice about the idea of having a piece of history like that. I do love that. And obviously that's why I've sort of taken a couple of pieces. I wish I had stuff from Atlantis. I don't think I've got anything. I mean, it's possible I might have a plastic. I may have a plastic piece from one of the control panels, maybe, but. I everything was auctioned off before we got a chance to look. Even my chair back. Someone was telling me they had my chair back. I'm like, that's great. I don't. I mean, I have a chair back from Rise of the Apes. I've got a chair back from like a whole bunch of stuff. I don't even know. I got a stack of them, but I didn't get the one from Atlantis, and I was really hurt about that. I was like, come on, like seriously, you auctioned that off? You wouldn't let me have my own chair back? I think they even made me sign it. Not made me, I think they asked me to sign it. No, that's right, it wasn't signed because I think I said no, because like, screw you stole the back of my chair, I'm not going to sign it. And then someone came in and they bought it, and I did sign it for them then, I think. But my tool bag is on eBay, $1,000. Wow, BritTech fan. I don't know, like, I mean, I feel like the way the 3D printing, CNC manufacturing processes that are available now, you could build really, really nice versions of these. Build really, really nice versions of these. Send me a little, no, I couldn't give me a little plaque. How would that work? I was gonna say, you could give me a little plaque or something, and I could sign it I could sort of like sign it with a Dremel or something, and then that could add a little bit of something to it. But it just, the idea of spending $1,000 on a piece of plastic or whatever just seems a bit crazy. And then you got all the shipping costs as well. That's the other thing is like, so like I'd happily part with some of these pieces, but what are you gonna do? I mean, like, on top of the cost of the piece themselves, I don't know what they would be worth, but the shipping of them alone would be crazy. Oh my God, we've been watching a lot of this Superstore show, and I swear to God, I'm sounding more and more like that, like Glenn from Superstore. Baz is making me watch it all the time, and I've got to admit, I'm really quite enjoying it. It's just so ridiculously silly, but I'm beginning to sound more like Glenn. All right, it's great to see me, man. It's great to see you, USA Bruce. Thanks for coming by. Sign with whatever you plan to use on what on your coins. Yeah, that's true. Auction for Tech Bandits. I guess I could. You could ask David Reed for the value of props. That's true. I'm seeing David in another. I'm going to do another Dial the Gate thing with him in April, I believe. Is that right? April sometime. It's actually coming up, I think. April. It's either before or after I film Clarice next. I don't quite remember. Yeah, what else did I have to say? So today, talked about Candy Medusa, talked about Tech Bandits. The coins, I'm really fascinated by the coins, I must say. Really, really fascinated. I've also, the idea of doing like a non-fungible token electronic component to it is really, that sort of makes me excited. The idea of having like a little coin, have a nice little metal coin that has like a cool Tech Bandits logo on it, and then maybe even just blank on the other side, so that I can etch on either some kind of a scan code. What are they called? The scan code things, like a QR code or something, or just a bunch of numbers, or even maybe just like maybe a little signature or something as well. And then I could sell those as a way of raising money for Tech Bandits. So that could be really fun. And then I would also give all of them to the Tech Bandits as well. I give some of them to the Tech Bandits, like actual physical copies, because it's yeah, I just like there's something sort of wonderful, sort of like tactile thing about a coin that I just love. How you choice between that and bat hearing? No. I want bat hearing as well for sure. Dramatic Impulse. I gotta have bat hearing. In fact, there's a wonderful couple who I want to talk to about bat hearing and things because I had to cancel on them the other week, and I really want to get back to them and talk to them because one of them works at Resound who do my hearing aids. I've changed the little inner domes. So inside my hearing, well, I just show you. Inside my hearing aids, there are these little tiny. Can you see this? These little tiny domes. So I had medium domes. I've now gone to tiny domes. It's really a very cool system. I wish it worked better, but the concept is brilliant. So this little thing here, I believe, is to sort of mimic picking up the sounds in your ears, so it's not so weird. You're not just hearing stuff from outside your ear, because this sits sort of around the ear. But it really bothers me that 7,000 Canadian dollars was spent on a pair of hearing aids that honestly, the quality, it's just not as good either specifically with Bluetooth, listening to sound and podcasts and movies and stuff. Although I have discovered, Gimpy God had a brilliant suggestion. He said, because I said, look, it's so much, I can hear the quality of the sound I get if I block my ears and listen to them is really quite nice. So he's like, well, just jam a couple of earplugs in there. So that's what I've been doing, actually, jamming these earplugs into my ears when I go to bed so that I can listen or I can watch a movie and it doesn't sound too awful. But here's the thing. If my iPhone gets even slightly too far out of the way, I lose the hearing in one ear, and it's just, God, it's so frustrating. There's a spider on the ceiling. Is there? Can you see a spider from there? Is that a spider? No, that's not a spider. What are you talking about? Not that I'm scared of spiders or anything. That's like my runway for the RoboCam, which I never use anymore, and I should do that. The streaming doesn't work well with outside noises, but there may be some way to fix that. The streaming doesn't work well with outside noises. Yeah, I set it on streaming only using the app. I still lose the signal all the time. It seems I should try it compared to my older phone. Maybe it's the iPhone 12. Maybe the 12 was the issue there. And I'll tell you this other thing. Oh my God. What is it called? Card Castle app. You've got to try this thing. So Card Castle app is this app that allows you to scan Magic the Gathering cards. It automatically puts them into a database for you so that you can organize things. I scanned Baz's deck. I scanned my deck. I scanned like over 250 cards over the weekend. And I am going to plow through everything because here's the deal. Then they can be in the boxes. I can look through and organize all I want online. It's brilliant. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing. Jared says iPhone 12 is the one that famously doesn't work with Resound. What? Oh, Dramatic Impulse, are you who I was talking to? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. So Dramatic Impulse literally is the person who I've been terrible about getting back to because I had to cancel and I haven't rescheduled. So we must reschedule. Really? But then if it doesn't work with the iPhone 12, then I guess I can't take them back. It's been too long. Well, that sucks. I was thinking about picking up these things called eargoes, or eargoes, and they're these little tiny hearing aids that fit right in your ears. They have this weird sort of flowered system, and my hope is that they might be a bit more hackable, but we'll see. My Starlink dish will be here Thursday. Oh, Dave's the dude. Oh, you gotta let us know about that. Can you send us? Dave's the dude. Could you send me some info on that? I'd love to know what your experience is, or do a little video or something that I could show the kids. Ergo SG1 reference, very good. Yes, he said all other phones stream better, but again, maybe we can figure something out. Oh, okay, all right. Well, look, I don't want to stick you with tech support, Dramatic Impulse. I'm just curious to know what could be. I feel like it's an area that could really be improved. And I've got do I still have it here? Where is it? There's the back detector, right? I mean, I've got it. Where is it? I don't know where it is. I have a back detector, which is basically a way of turning ultra high frequency sounds into a range that we can hear, so you can hear bats. Where is it? It's hard to believe I can't find something. Can you hear the kids thumping around above? I should probably find out what's involved there because it's supposed to be school time. But yeah, so the idea is to take this, if I could find it, is to take this bat detector, basically, which allows you to hear what the bats are doing in a range that the humans can hear. Brilliant little device created by a toy maker, Tony Ellis, a fantastic guy. He's been on Tech Bandits a few times as well. And so I'd love to figure out a way of like streaming that into my hearing aids so that I can have super hearing, because I don't just want to have my hearing back. I would like to have super hearing. And I would also like to be able to spy on people's conversations at restaurants and things if we ever go back to restaurants. So there you go. David, talked about the whole Citrus Rodney, what? Citrus and Rodney, the old issues with allergies to citrus, which I do not have. Do you have a copy of Tales of the Undead? Do I? I don't think so. Borg. Yes, I am Borg. I'm happy to be Borg. I'd love to be Borg. If they can add something to these glasses so I can see better, or that I can see better anyways because of the glasses, but I would love like a heads-up display on these things. There's a couple of nerds on YouTube that I've seen that I should say fellow nerds probably, who I'd love to have that kind of stuff happening on my eyewear. It'd be freaking awesome. And the other thing that was said to me the other day, which I thought was interesting, was Baz was saying maybe we should do some Tech Bandits on YouTube, because he's saying that there seem to be more people available on YouTube for this stuff. I guess because of all the subscriptions. He says that Twitch is not very good at discovery, so that there's a good chance that people aren't seeing what's happening on Twitch in the same way that they would on YouTube. So I wondered about, and I'll run this by you, see what you think. What if we did like Tech Bandits, whatever the first session is of the week, it's Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday sometimes, but do like the Tech Bandits on YouTube, and then do Game Bandits on actual Twitch. What do you think of that? That seemed like a good idea. I wondered about that. All right, what else we got? I understand they're called Borg. Borg short for cyborg. Oh my God, I'm dumb. I'm assuming that's why they're called. I'm assuming that's why they're called that. Legendary Studios Canada is sending me a Canadian flag, and I love them for it. There's a few HUDs. I know there is a few HUDs for sure. Hello, Elsa. Elsa's back with us, giving us a quick update on times. What do we got? David, you could use Restream to stream on both platforms at the same time. Interesting. Okay, Rebel Time Lady, I shall look that up. I like it. It's so brilliant, it just might work. Linus does his stream on both at the same time. Okay. But is there much of a setup? See, this is the other thing, is like, I want to be able to stream on both, but I don't, what I love about this is just how immediate it is. Like, I go like, oh my God, sorry guys, gotta run. I'm gonna come down, I do my burn and learn. I could do this very easily. I feel like with Twitch, I want to sit in there. I want to get set up. I've got cameras and audio and all that kind of stuff. This is so much easier. And maybe this is a better way to go. I don't know. Streamlabs, everyone loves Streamlabs. Good. Just tape two phones together. Done. Opal Mist. Genius. I could actually, that. What's funny about that is I have an old iPhone as well that I could use. But then who gets the lousy quality? Not the lousy quality. Who gets the lesser quality? Twitch or YouTube? I don't know. All right, get out of here. I gotta go deal with kids. 101. We're like at 101 Dalmatians. I should probably go check and see what the homeschooled bratlets are up to right now. Where were you ever challenged by the Technobabble on Stargate? Yeah, it was always a challenge, Nico Mawolf. I am not good at learning lines. Everyone assumes I'm good at learning lines because I learn huge amounts of lines, but the reality is it is just brute force. There's no tricks to that. That is just, I spent ridiculous amounts of time learning lines. Still do to this day. When I have lines to learn, even just a few lines here and there, I really struggle to remember them. So It's just a matter of just repetition after repetition after repetition. Just the only way I can remember these things. My husband just informed me that thanks to me, he is used to listening to your live stream and that it's soothing and annoying when he doesn't hear it in his morning. Oh, really? That's interesting. My husband just informed me that thanks to me, he is used to listening to your live streams and that it's soothing and annoying when he doesn't hear it in his morning. Oh, that's really nice. That's good to know. That's what we're here for, husbands. Is to mock and to ride, you know. All right. Have you been contacted as of yet of the upcoming new Stargate series? No, I haven't, Larry Gill. I know nothing about it. David, you could have taken Richard Dean Anderson's advice, and yeah, it's true. Fox Girl raises a really good point. So Richard Dean Anderson said that he just got the lines wrong and they stopped giving it to him. I think that's what happens when you're MacGyver. I'm not sure if it happens when you're Hewlett. So I thought I better just do the work, and to be honest, quite enjoyed it. The reality is, I really enjoyed Stargate. I really enjoyed the lines I had to say. I really enjoyed the scenes I got to do. And I just loved that character. I mean, I didn't always love his decisions, but I loved that character. As I tell people nowadays, I didn't just play a coward on television. There were definitely McKay elements of my own personality that I got to embrace and really sort of enjoy, and that Jane enjoyed me losing when I got home. When I got home, she used to give me 15 minutes to lose McKay, or I lost her, basically. So, all right. Thane Selly says, "Whoa." All right, what we got? I love when you said it was really fun. What did we say with that? I had to learn 223 lines for a play in 6 weeks. Yeah, Donna K. Smith. I mean, that's theater, right? Theater's amazing that way. Although theater, I found, because there's so much repetition in the, you're running scenes and there's movements attached to them. I found it much easier to learn lines that way. So I would run them at home, and then by the time I got to actual rehearsals, they become like sense memory. Because you're tying words to actions, I found it much easier to remember. With something like film and television, you don't have that connection, right? So you don't have, you're going to arrive on set, do your lines, and then move on to the next scene. There's not a lot of rehearsal involved, right? There's usually a few rehearsals to get things right, and then you jump in. So there's not really time to learn your lines in that time, although there's a lot of actors who feel that they probably should learn their lines in that time. And I've never understood that, because to me it's always just like, no, I need to arrive on set knowing my lines, or I feel really off. So there's that. What do we got here? In Russia, theater actors will play a role only once or twice a month, but for years and years alongside multiple other roles. I don't know how they do it. I think dramatic impulse. I do think it's a muscle. Like, I feel like it is you come up with your own techniques and tricks to remember things. I am terrible at remembering things in general. Names, absolutely awful. Can't connect them to faces. I'm awful at it. And I always am thoroughly embarrassed when I do meet people at conventions for the 5th or 6th time, and I'm still going like, hi, nice to meet you. But there's just too many people, can't make those connections. I'm sure there's some kind of a psychological or chemical reason why I can't, but I struggle with that. And yet with learning lines, I vividly remember the first time I had to learn lines, and it was for a play called like The Wild and Woolly West, and I was playing a prostitute, a female prostitute, because it was an all-boys school, and for some reason, and because I was the youngest, I was the female prostitute. And I remember looking at this play and going, how am I ever going to remember all these lines? And you just break it down line by line, and that's basically how you do it. Like, just get that line sorted, then get that line sorted, then get that line sorted, and then you have to go through and remember when to say them, because you remember the lines, but you got to remember what order they are. So you often end up having to have a pretty good sense of other people's lines, although I don't like to do that, because I worry that you start to, if you've memorized other people's lines, I feel like then it's all acting instead of just reacting to stuff. So I quite like just knowing the last couple of words where I can jump in, and then I get to actually listen to what they're saying and try to work out why my next line is whatever it is. So that makes a big difference for me. Is that coffee organic? Yes, it is, because my wife ordered it, and it also comes in a paper bag, because now I'm freaking out about plastic. Although, how can I freak out about plastic and do 3D printing? How does that work? Talk about microplastic issues. Um, I have been to New Zealand a few times now, and it is, along with Australia, not to lump them together as everyone does, but along with Australia, they are two of my favorite places on the planet, honestly. Really just freaking love it out in that neck of the woods, shall we say. Yeah, it's been amazing. But is it free range? I don't know. Organically grown, and I think someone sang opera to it while it was growing. I think that's why it tastes so good. I have not been to Jacksonville, Florida. What do I think of Jacksonville? What would I think of Jacksonville, Florida? New Zealand is the best place on earth. Oh, Hannah Gunson. That's like them's fighting words right there. Though I'm not going to disagree. There's certainly a certain amount of love I have for that. 3D printer filament can be recycled by heating it up. Yes, yes, and yes. And what I would love, I would very much like to have a way of taking, I've been saving all of my old filament. So any filament of failed prints and stuff, I've kept it. And what I would like to do is figure out a way of churning it all up and melting it back out into some like crappy filament that could be used for not necessarily terribly important prints or whatever, or for test prints or that kind of stuff. So there are units that do that. They're expensive. That's what stopped me. Like I have found there have been these, man, maybe the price has gone down now because it was a couple of years before I looked, but there used to, basically all you're doing is you're extruding plastic through a heated nozzle, and it's very basic. That's what it's doing. That's how it's building these things out of plastic. The idea then is that if you have a failed print, you could somehow, chip that all up, melt it into a nice little proper consistency, and then re-extend it as a piece of filament that you could then put back into your machine again. I think it's a little bit more complicated than that, but I do love the idea of it because I just feel like it's slightly less wasteful somehow. But I'm sure Candy Medusa will tell us all about plastics this afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when we do Tech Bandits. Ooh, you see that? Nice little segue, huh? That's my marketing. What was the other one I had the other day? What was the one I liked? We're making local and learning global. It doesn't have the same ring to it anymore. But that's my Tech Bandits pitch now. All right. You need the tools to make a plastic filament though. Maybe once you make your Tech Bandits garage. Don't remind me. Maybe the garage too. Jesus. I'm worried we're going to shut down again, and then we're going to be back to no money and sitting at home. And I got to admit, I quite like being at home, but the idea of not having any income is a little bit of a worry again. I really hope we don't shut down again. I'm really worried that we're going to, because Toronto is not looking good right now. We'll see what the numbers are today, but we're over 2,500 again cases in the city, and I don't see why it's going to go down given what I see when I go outside, which is a lot of people who seem to think that when you're outside you're completely immune, which sort of worries me. I know, dramatic impulse. I know. I don't want it either. I mean, I got, as I say, I've got Bratlet home now because they had COVID at his school. So, and I'm not sending him back. No freaking way. Sorry. I don't want to send him back yet. I think he's going to stay at home. I talked to my doctor the other day, almost broadcasted on the internet, as you know, and he was saying he'd kept his kid home for the last 11 months and was finally like, I think recently, I don't think now, maybe he's probably changed his mind again now, but he had his kid home for like 11 months because he was like, what am I going to do? My kid's sitting around with 25 people at lunch eating. I mean, like that's it's like a hotbed for transmission, right? So he's a freaking doctor. He's my doctor, and he's keeping his son at home. So I don't know. I really don't know what to do. I feel honestly quite despairing of our government and to some extent our population. I feel like there's a lot of people out there who just are not pulling their weight on this stuff. There was a whole thing about, people getting angry about people jumping the queue. I don't care. You know what? Jump the queue. Go, people, if it's fine. The more people who are vaccinated, the better. If you're such an asshole that you're jumping ahead of people who need it more than you, then you know what? Get a vaccine, because you're going to be a stupid dick about the fact that you obviously think the world revolves around you anyways, so you're not going to be safe. So, you know what? Get jabbed. You go. You know what I mean? I'm not going to like you, but I don't think there's any point in trying to stop you, because, again, the more people who get vaccinated, the better at this point. I mean, it is unlikely we're ever going to reach the point where we are at herd immunity by the sound of it, but at least we can get as many people vaccinated as possible. at this point, I mean, if people are apparently there's people like sort of making up or exaggerating their symptoms. Like, so there you go. So this is how I would do it. I would say, I don't know, I have asthma, so which I do. But I have asthma, and when I get sick, I often get bronchitis. So I'm probably in the danger zone. So I should go and get vaccinated. I just don't feel like that's right. So I'm not going to do that. But I have learned that apparently in Ontario, there's they're late in their latest sort of breakdown of how things are going to go with the vaccinations. Apparently, if you live in zones that are like hot zones for the virus, which includes Toronto and Peel and a bunch of other areas.
Someone is at the front door.
Someone's at the front door, just in case anyone didn't know. And so the advantage there is that the advantage of being in a hot zone is that you can get vaccinated between the ages, I think, of 40 and 60 as well at some point. So I'm not sure that's not in effect yet, but I think the beginning of April they're going to change that. So I will apply to get vaccinated then for sure. Absolutely. Why not? Makes sense. And again, if I'm going to be going back and forth from set, I'm getting all the tests anyways, admittedly, so either with or without the vaccine, I could still continue so that they can track and contain if there's any issues. But at the same time, if there are vaccinations available, yeah, we should get them. Why not? I make no bones about that. But I'm not going to make up. I'm sorry, even I can't McKay that one. I can't go full McKay enough to be able to truly be that motivated for it. But I'm very motivated to get a vaccine, but motivated enough to lie about a condition in order to get vaccinated. That seems to be that I draw the line at that. But that's, as I say, but if you're going to do that, then you know what? Go and do it. Because then you're one less thing for me to worry about. One less person. Nice doorbell. That's not the doorbell either. Like, the doorbell's supposed to bark at me. I'll go find out what's going on. All right, everybody. It's not that smart a house, to be honest, Dave's a dude. It's kind of annoying. All right. I'm going to say this. A fair and adieu. Be safe, be kind, be brilliant. I will see you at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. Maybe a little earlier if I can talk Gimpy God into chatting with us all. I want to catch up with Gimpy God and actually maybe it is worth sharing that. We'll see if Gimpy God's up for that. If he is, then I'll see you a little earlier. But 4 p.m. for sure, Eastern Standard Time, where you're going to talk plastics. And it's going to be fantastic. Oh man, that's careful. That was verging on a little bit of rap there, which is, never a pretty thing. So until we geek again, I will say cheerio and huzzah!